Alright, good morning everyone. Hope you all can hear me. Alright, hopefully you've all noticed some changes to my UI here. It's not really user interface. I mean, my changes to my overlays here to make it look a bit more professional. You got my name down there. I like the orange with the blue. I think I might go with that theme for a while. Got my socials below that, so you can connect with me on different platforms, and my live chat, which I'm using Caster Labs for that. I'm hoping it's working. I don't really know if it is or not, but maybe I can. Let's put something in here. I don't know if this is working or not. We'll do all test. There we go. Oh, cool. It puts it for each one that I'm streaming to right now. So I am testing out multi-stream. I think my internet's fast enough for it, so I'm doing both X and YouTube right now. I do hope to do more. I want to do as much as I can, just kind of get it out there. Kick, I'm getting set up. Twitch, I'm getting set up. I watched Nutty's videos on YouTube for some stream help here. Just kind of getting into it, learning all the cool tips and tricks, and I upgraded my OBS with different plugins and stuff, so I'm going to get the vertical stream going as well, so I can stream to TikTok and Instagram, all those fun places. Alright. Oh, they're cool. They show the cutscene again if you go back there. Interesting. And of course, he's gonna get back up again. Oh, this is a dark missile trooper. I don't remember this. Did I not fight this guy? My first time playing this? Anyway, I hope the levels are still okay. I don't want the audio to be too bad. I have it set down a little bit. But yeah, so if you're on YouTube right now, I don't think it's the chat is working for X. I don't have that up right now. But if you visit my YouTube, you can see the tag I have there at the bottom of the screen. Then you should be able to participate in chat if you're watching. You know, I'm just starting out. I don't expect to have much traffic for a while, but it is there and I can see it, and I'd love to interact with everyone. Okay, that's why. Yeah, I think a good topic of discussion could be during my last stream, I talked a little bit about game design and what a game is, and I got a couple of comments on some of the shorts I posted, and they were interesting ideas. One was I forget the name of him or her name, but they defined a game as a. It seemed like the primary defining characteristic of a game was the effort it takes to actually play it. If that makes any sense. So basically, if you're in an activity and it doesn't take any effort, then it is less like a game. And I disagree with that in a very big way, but I also agree with part of it where it's going. So just to be clear, how I'm defining a game is based off of the rules of play playbook that I'm reading, Game Design Fundamentals by Salen and Zimmerman. It's much more about game design philosophy. If you don't like philosophy of any kind, or anything like that, then and you want the practical stuff, it's probably not for you. You're going to be much better served reading 100 design game tips and tricks. I forget the name of the author. Sorry, I got a bird clock in here, and it goes off every hour, and I forget to turn it off. But you're much going to be better reading that book, which I share a lot of quotes from. I make these little Game Boy graphics, so you can see that on my Instagram as well. The bibliography is there, so you can go there as well. But anyway, they define a game as a game is a system in which players engage in artificial conflict defined by rules that results in a quantifiable outcome. And then they go on in that quote to define their terms, which I think is very important. The game has to have conflict. If it's not artificial conflict, it's not a game. So there has to be some sort of conflict between you and either another player or the game itself. And it's that one aspect that I sort of see where that other user who said that games have to have some sort of effort, there might be a little kernel of truth there, in that if a game doesn't have conflict, is it really a game? Now, I'm not I believe words do mean things, and you can make arguments, solid arguments, to say, like, hey, this word means this, it's always means this, or at least it's in the context of our society. I'm not saying a game can be whatever you want it to be. However you define it is okay. There are gooder definitions, there are better definitions and worse definitions of games based on what your argumentation is. And to this person's credit, they did try to lay out examples and arguments as to what a game is. And in their definition, they try to describe the original Pokemon as not a game, but Pokemon Yellow is a game because it requires more effort. Now, I didn't agree with that. I didn't get into it with that person because I flat out disagreed with it. But okay, am I going back to the beginning? I think I am. Yes, that's my spaceship. Alright, I gotta get back. There's somewhere where I need to scan stuff. Alright, we jumped down the hole. We got some missile packs, which is good. We need to get over here. So when you make an argument for what something is, I do think that there is some sort of objective definition that you can make a strong argument for that will convince most people that a game is whatever you want it to be. If your definition is a bad definition, if it just doesn't jive well with logic or examples, then not many people will agree with that. I personally think that a game has to have artificial conflict. It has to be defined by rules, and the results have to be quantifiable. You have to determine if there's a winner or not a winner. Effort is, if a game requires effort, I feel like that moves a game into a definition of a game more into the subjective category, because effort depends on skill level. So yeah, that's my biggest problem with that definition here. Another one is that that I really liked and I want to explore more is that a game is a system of incentives, and I believe that that's more proposed by the developer Jane McGonigal. She wrote Reality is Broken, which is a book I've been meaning to read because I heard it's really, really good for not just game design, but also just game design philosophy and how games affect our view of the world. Because apparently she used game design philosophy principles to overcome depression, which I think is really, really cool. And I do think, myself, I'm a religious fellow. I grew up in the, in church. I still go to church. I take my family to church, and I will say that studying game design and game systems and how you're building out this world that users interact with. Sometimes they interact with other users, like that people. You're building out this world that people interact with and have agency in. To me, that helped really, I don't know, solidify my own personal worldview on, what do you call it? Intelligent design. I think it's totally possible for there to be a creator being that I call God, and in the Christian faith, Jesus Christ, to create a world in which you have these free will agents interact with, that also has a purpose and and goals and conflict. And how do you discover those roles and conflicts? Well, you read your Bible. Anyway, that's another topic for another time. But all that to say is, studying game design, I feel is a worthwhile endeavor, even if you are not currently developing video games. Now, an aspect of game design that I think is really, really, really important is one of player agency. And by that I mean the participants in the game, at the very least, need to have the they need to at least have the illusion of agency, meaning that their choices matter. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. They need to have agency, and I don't just mean like in a tree like of dialogue choices. Okay? I mean they need to know that their actions have some sort of outcome. Okay, and I mean that down to the basic game mechanics. Okay, to simple controls. If I go up and if I press the control, if I want to go up, I can go up. If I want to go down, I can go down. If I want to engage an enemy by only using missiles, I can do so. If I want to engage him by scanning him first, I can do so. This is annoying. But what I'm getting at here is I do have some manner of choice in how I interact with the world on a micro level. Okay, I'm going to continue this thought in a second because I am a little lost here, and I don't like being lost. Okay, I can't go through that door. That one will take me up to... there. I don't want to go up there. I need to get back to that main area where I've... Okay, translation. Okay, I can't go up there because I need the dark beam. Alright, let's go back down here. I don't know why I grayed out that part of the map. It looked like I hadn't explored there yet, but whatever. I think I said this my first time, that it's a lot harder than I thought to talk and play a game at the same time. See, I don't like how I never liked how they did that they did this in the original too. They grayed this area out like you hadn't been there, so it kind of messes with you a bit. Okay, there's another translation door. Maybe I gotta go there. Alright, here we go. Let's go this way. How do I get over this thing? Blow it up. Nope. I need the jump boots. Bees. Lots of bees. Okay, I gotta get around. Can I get there that way? Looks like I've been there. Okay, that's the ship. I can't get in that way. P. Power station. Portal. Maybe? I don't think I can activate portals yet. Hang on, let's go back up here. Another aspect of player agencies, I have to have the ability to make mistakes and get lost and figure it out on my own. That's one of the reasons I don't like DDL. DDA, Dynamic Difficulty Adjustment. I feel like agency has been removed from me, the player. Something about the game is, well, if they don't communicate to you, it's being a little dishonest to the player. If they do communicate it to you, it is at least not dishonest. I think if you're going to do dynamic difficulty adjustment, you should tell the player. You should communicate that to the player. Am I just not... This is where I wish I was just recording, so I could just pause the video, find the right location, and then go. Because gotta say, it's a little embarrassing here that I am lost, but I guess that's the point of a Metroid game. You will get lost if you've never played it before, and I've only played this a few times, and it's been decades now since I've done this. Alright, here we go. On a related philosophical note, I do think that I feel very strongly about this whole agency thing in games, that the player needs to feel in control and the player needs to actually be in control. I do think that that is kind of a reflection on my own personal belief that we have free will. I am not the Christian variety that believes we don't have free will, or that everything is that salvation itself is a Calvinist in a sense. If you know what that theology structure is, that's not what I believe. Because again, I believe that removes agency, which has a philosophical effect of removing a lot of meaning from life and your actions. And if you disagree with that, maybe I can start another stream where we do theology debates. Okay, I'm a little frustrated here. I should go through. I can't go through that door because there's something blocking my way again. This way, that brings me back to the ship. Am I dumb? What am I missing here? Do I need to go? What is going on? Okay. Scan the door. This I can't get through. Is there a hole in the ground I'm missing? I have bombs now. Should be able to get through. Can I bomb jump over it? Oh, yes, I can. That's probably a sequence break, I bet. Alright. Now we're hopefully making progress. Hopefully in an intended way. Got some more bees to worry about here. And I'm probably going to have to do some more bomb jumps, because looks like I'm expected to have... Hello. Oh, can I get in this door? Let me bomb jump up there and get there. Yeah, if you've never played Metroid Dread, definitely play Metroid Dread. It is a fantastic game, and they actually programmed in sequence breaks. So like, if you happen to somehow make it to Kraid without, like, by sequence breaking him, and you have bombs before you should, you can use those bombs in the battle against him in like a cinematic way. Like, you can shoot yourself in his gut and blow him up, or if you happen to have the it looks like I can't get up there. If you happen to have the the Aeon Flash or whatever it's called, when you get there, you can flash into his mouth. Anyway, it's like they reward you for sequence breaking, which is, I think that's a pretty cool design choice, and it's a good incentive for players to explore and try to play the game the way they want to play. Like, a good example of like what happened just now. Like, the game allowed me to do that, and I am questioning right now whether or not I was supposed to be able to, even though I've already been here. Usually those types of bomb jumps are not I feel like standard in... I mean, you can do them, but usually they don't they're not included in like the standard play. Like you have to do it this way, and I think I'm encountering that right now because this is disabled and it's offline and I can't get through. Okay, let's look at the map again. Wow, how did I get stuck back here? Is this one of those things that... No, I'm playing Prime Hack. They should... Sometimes game developers, or big studios, they'll put in, like, things to discourage you taking a modded version of their game or a emulated version, and basically it breaks progression. Like you can't progress past a certain point. Like I know the Batman Arkham series had this one thing where Batman's glide didn't work quite well if you had a particular version of the game that wasn't traditional, and it prevented you from progressing. I gotta do another bomb jump here. Which is another topic of gaming piracy. Nintendo being notorious for coming down pretty hard on certain things. But I am playing this on my computer. It is Prime Hack, but I do actually own the trilogy right here. I don't even own a Wii still. I still have this just because I love it so much. I think it's so cool. This little metal case. Okay. The only path forward is up here. Maybe I missed something up where the Luminoth is. I probably missed something. Well, obviously I missed something, otherwise I would be progressing in the game. I'm gonna blame the fact that I'm trying to... I just thought you could like shoot at him, but look at that. It's a cool little detail. He's like, yeah, whatever, you're trying to shoot me. Alright. Can I interact with you? Oh yeah, maybe I was supposed to interact with him. The Temple of Aegon Dark Shadow holds what you seek. Return the missing energy before Aegon is lost forever to the Ing. Okay, never mind. I don't have any of the energy. I really hate to do this, but let's hang on. So, this is where I feel, not gonna lie, I feel a little hypocritical, but some of these newer Metroid games, there we go, they have this hint system, just in case you can't figure it out. And it should be on. And usually you can turn it off if you want, which is, again, a nice touch. You should be able to turn off stuff like that if you don't want to. And normally I would totally do that. But again, this is a stream. It's not just for me. It's for entertainment. Well, it's kind of for me. At this point, at least. Until I get some people actually watching my streams. Speaking of which, let me just quickly check. X over here. Bring this up. I'll keep an eye on the X chat, which maybe someday someone will say something to me. I'm not lonely, I swear. All right. Okay, what is going on here? Alien text. Okay, if I go this way, I get blocked by this. Statue's motivator unit but requires power to operate. The power beam can't energize. Seek alternative energy source. Definitely can't get through there. So I gotta go back. It's probably a translation point I missed. I can't go through here. I feel like I'm debugging a piece of code. Usually it gets to the point where if I'm working and I have to debug something and I can't figure out what is wrong, if I start talking to myself, that helps, but that's usually... Oh, yes. Here we go. This will probably just get me an energy tank or something, but, you know, whatever. Small incremental progress. So let's get up here. There we go. Okay, good. All right, all right. Yeah, there we go. It's going to spit me out, and I'll be back right where I started. There we go. But I got a missile tank, so... And now I'm turned around. Okay, not that way. Yes, okay. Should have gone that way. Explore your surroundings. Yeah, Metroid games are not, especially the first time you play them, are not for impatient players. If you're not patient, I feel like Metroid games will rub you the wrong way. Because they're not run and gun. You got to take the time to look and scan, and especially Metroid Prime. I will say that as I've gotten older as a gamer and have more responsibilities and much less time to play, much less time to enjoy my playing, I've become way more impatient with my gameplay, and I often have to consciously tell myself, okay, just be patient with it, slow down, figure it out, don't try to rush it. Getting a little bit of lag here, not sure why. Because if you don't do that, you miss out on on some of the experience that's intended. It's cool. I can go back here. There's probably nothing here, but you know, it's cool. I can do it. There's no invisible wall stopping me. But yeah, this time slot right here that I'm streaming in also corresponds with the only time I really have to play. Occasionally I get to play at night, occasionally, but for the most part, you know, night is for, you know, just spending time with the family. And my boys are getting old enough that they're being able to play games. We played Mario Wonder yesterday together, which was fun. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to put in some time alone to progress this game, so I don't run into this problem again. Excuse me. Can I blow this up? Nope. Empty run. Missing a scan somewhere. Sorry, 1 second. Just adjusting my screens here. Yeah, I've always been the type of player to want to do it myself, even experience a game for myself before I actually play it with other people or learn anything about it. You know, single-player games are single-player for a reason. The developer, the writer, they have an intended experience for you, and even streaming, like I'm a little hesitant to stream Prime 4 because it being my first time playing it, because I want the experience that the developers intend, and that's one of, you know, play the game through for you know, on your first alone on your first go around, and then play through it in a more casual way, I suppose. I got this there. Right, where did I come from here? Man, I'm getting a little bit of lag. I do not like that. Why is that doing that? My computer must be straining over some of the stream. I have 64 gigs of RAM. I upgraded it, which should be able to handle it, but I know that the other aspects of my machine are not very, not very big. I'm playing off of an Acer Nitro, which is just a budget gaming laptop. I do not have the money right now to buy a nice gaming rig, although it is a dream I have. Yeah, my for my job, I have a work laptop that the company sent to me, so, you know, I don't need something outrageous for what I do. I don't know why I didn't find that. I apologize, everyone who might be watching this, but definitely if you skipped ahead to to me figuring it out, I hope I figured it out. I will not fault you for that at all. Alright, hopefully this is... Gotta be bugs. I hate bugs. I really, really hate bugs. Snakes, reptiles, mice, I'm good with, but I just have a visceral reaction to bugs, and sometimes it makes me feel less like a man, but, you know, whatever. Right. This dumb thing. Gotta blow up its face and its butt. Kind of a weird creature, but creative. Okay. Save station in here. I'm gonna save because I have nightmares about making a ton of progress and then losing it. Kind of like when I'm streaming right now. I really hope my streams are going up, that people can hear me, and and things are going through well. I'm still very much a rookie at all this. I don't know. I feel like it's been going okay so far. We'll see what happens when I multi-stream to multiple platforms. Something I've been meaning to do is to make a video where I kind of explain my my motivations to, you know, engage in the conversation on social media and, you know, start streaming on my own. You know, and I'd be lying if I didn't admit that there's some of it that's more selfish reasons. I do hope one day, of course, to be monetized and to make some money off of this. You know, this isn't my full-time job. be cool if it was at some point. You know, all if you're from my generation, the parents, they didn't know, and they sort of lied to us when they said you can't make money playing video games all day. You can most certainly make money playing video games all day. And it would be cool to do that, but even just that too, I don't just want to I don't just want to play video games all day. I love video games. I think that they're an incredible achievement of human ingenuity, and by studying them and game design philosophy, you can improve your own philosophical outlook on life, and they can actually be a benefit to people. And it's because of that I feel like I have something to contribute to the conversation. And again, more in a philosophical way, less in a technical way, although I am trying to learn more about the technical aspects of game design and what works and what doesn't work. Lens connected to the system, sonic detection. Oh yeah, that's right. But like with any forms of media, the medium the medium in and of itself can be good or can be bad. There's gaming that is good, and there's gaming that is not so good. Gaming that not all games are created equal. And I don't just mean games that have a lot of crude, crass stuff in them, like, nudity or overt violence or things like that. I mean games that are detrimental to one's own personal growth, like a true waste of time. Which is why, again, like gacha games, I feel are particularly dangerous, because they hack the brain to get you to play the game even when you don't really want to. Like, there are some gacha, like the gacha game I spent the most time with, and I'd hesitate to even call this a gacha game, because I have to admit I don't want to be dishonest here. It is a spectrum. There are games that do have gacha mechanics that are great, incredible games. Modern gaming, you almost like you can't get around it. You're going to encounter gacha mechanics. So I will admit that. So I can't say, the game I played, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I played that for years. It was a lot of fun. I love Star Wars. But I will admit, there were times when I logged on to quote unquote play it, and all I did was collect my incentives. All I did was collect, the daily loot boxes, or, hit the button to auto fight this, and really at the end of my time playing it, 90% of the game I was playing on auto. Like, all I was doing was logging in and hitting the auto button in the fight. And the only real actual playing I did was when we were doing like a guild war, which were a ton of fun. But even that, there was even the guild war stuff. Like if you encountered a pay to win player a whale, your chances of survival were slim, of victory were slim. There was certain, like, you used the right team, the right counter, and there was maybe only one counter for it. And if you missed it, if you didn't have it, you were pretty much useless as a player to your guild. And so once I kind of got to that point, I was like, okay, maybe it's time to stop. Okay, I need to slow down and figure this out. What is this thing? This is a statue of Dachar, the child hero of Aegon, once a lowly acolyte squire. He became a warrior where the temple was attacked. All warriors but Dachar were slain, leaving the boy as sole defender of the temple. He served Aegon for nearly a centicycle before being lost to the Battle of Dark Aether. Oh, that's sad. But a cool little lore drop. I love that. I love creative lore drops here that just give you some great world building. Yeah, going back to my motivations here, I fear that gaming as an, not just as an industry, but as how it's viewed by, you know, there is some merit when people say, people just waste too much time playing video games. And people do waste too much time playing video games. And I don't like to see those arguments validated. I don't like to see that, and that's why I advocate for, you know, responsible play, especially if you're an adult, and, you know, even more especially if you're a kid. And the way I view it is all play must be moderated based on the level of responsibility that you have. You know, Tolkien, if you read his essay on fairy stories, which is a great short book, well, I don't know if it's short or not, but if it's a great essay. His big thing was that the problem with fantasy was not escapism. The problem with fantasy comes when you have people desert their duty as a person. If they desert their duty, then something is wrong. If I have responsibility, I know that in maybe in about 15 minutes I got to stop playing because I got to get things ready for the day. I have to make sure breakfast is ready for my kids and all that fun stuff. And if I don't, then you know, bad things can happen. People get angry. People go hungry. All right. I think, man, I am missing something. I am so sorry, everyone. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, that's the real danger of video games, is when they take up so much of your time that you lose. You are not being responsible, and you are not bettering yourself as a person. You're not socializing. You don't have any larger life goals, because you have to realize that even though this is a fantasy, that even though, you know, you're having fun and you're playing, your progress as a game player should not cause your progress as a human who exists in reality to halt. Like, you need to have at least balance. If a game is not enriching your life in any way, and beyond that of just I'm having fun, then maybe it's time to stop playing the game or take a step back. I know for me, you know, the games I played growing up shaped me as a person, the stories I encountered, and how I think about the world. And because of that, I viewed my gaming experience as a kid as a positive one. And I want that for other people. And I don't feel that they can get that if they're only playing games that are detrimental to their upbringing or themselves as a person. Like if it's causing negative effects in their life, if it's causing, and that desertion of duty is, I think, a big red flag there. If you know that something, that you're enjoying something and it's causing you more and more to stop being responsible to the things you need to do, or be responsible to the people that you love and your relationships, then that is a red flag that you have an unhealthy relationship with your hobby. And I say hobby because gaming is a hobby, and any hobby can take you away from that kind of healthy lifestyle. Okay, well, I'm going to end the stream here because I am lost, and I feel I want to figure out where I need to go before I stream again, because I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time, but I hope you enjoyed the discussion at least. And next time, promise, or I hope so, promise I'll find the way to go here so we can progress the game, actually, and I can beat this. Hopefully I can beat this before Prime 4 comes out, which even that, I'm now having second thoughts about purchasing, because the Christmas season is expensive, and as an adult gamer, I have responsibilities, and part of that responsibility is to not spend money on things I need to spend money on. And if I'm being honest, I don't know if I can hash out another $80 for a video game right now. So anyway, thank you all for joining me here. I hope you enjoyed the discussion, at least as I wander around. I did make some progress. I got some missile packs, so that'll help me out. But anyway, thank you all for listening and or watching. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'm going to try to make it a regular thing to stream every weekday morning in the prime time of somewhere between 4 and 6 a.m. Hopefully there are some of you out there in different time zones, or just you're up early in the morning and need some light philosophical game chatter as I wander around in a Metroid game. Anyway, thank you all for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.